Reginald Baskin, who thought he might just be the fattest, slowest, and weakest vampire who ever lived, decided that he was going to need the emergency shirt he kept at the bottom of his desk drawer. "So, have you seen enough?" Reginald asked the customer between heaving breaths, the treadmill thundering under his feet. The customer, an old man leaning on a bejeweled cane, nodded and said, "More or less. But can you give me another few minutes just to be sure? You don't mind, do you?" "Not at all," Reginald lied. Reginald was not built for treadmill running. His gut swayed side to side, all 350 pounds of body by Cinnabon shaking and rattling and punishing the machine beneath him. His breath came heavy and fast. He felt lightheaded. He raised an arm to wipe the sweat from his forehead and received an unpleasant blast from his armpit. Yes, he was going to need that shirt. Reginald had been a vampire for 6 months, and there had been many times during those months that he'd wished Hollywood had gotten vampirism right. If Hollywood had gotten it right, Reginald would have had boundless strength, speed, and power from day one, instead of passing out and breaking his nose the first time he tried to run. If Hollywood had gotten it right, he'd never have been tried by the Vampire Council as an unfit embarrassment. If Hollywood had gotten it right, demonstrating one of his company's treadmills for a potential buyer would be a stupidly easy task, and he wouldn't feel like he was going to die. Not that he could die right now, of course, even if he wanted to. And he kind of did want to. Where was a wooden stake when you needed one? "It's just because I'm buying 50 of these machines, you understand," said the customer. "No, breath, prob, breath, lem, wheeze. And I'm incapacitated, or I do it myself," said the customer, nodding at his cane. "Sure. And frankly, I'm not—" He paused, looking down at his own slight frame. Then he raised his nose at Reginald's girth. "And you are—" "Of course," said Reginald, cutting him off. The customer owned a perfect-size fitness franchise and would be buying the heavy-duty line of treadmills because they could take the most pounds of punishment. What he had almost said was that Reginald was fat enough to give the treadmills a realistic test. And while Reginald had made peace with the body he'd have forever, he didn't want to embarrass the customer by making him say it. "What's the weight limit again?" said the customer. 500, said Reginald, trying to catch his breath. Talking was becoming harder and harder. 500 pounds? I guess that's enough. And that's at maximum speed? I guess it's... Sure, he said. Reginald wasn't a salesman, and hence he wasn't sure about the treadmill specs. The salesmen worked a different shift than Reginald. They all had perfect bodies and perfect faces and represented the company well, whereas Reginald was usually hidden away in accounting, further insulated by working the night shift. Why Phil Berger had called and insisted that Reginald accommodate this little old man now in a ridiculous after-midnight meeting was beyond him. Something to do with the old man's schedule, Berger had said. I imagine it could accommodate more weight at walking speeds than running speeds. I don't, because when you run, it's like slamming the thing with sledgehammers, I mean. I'm not. Can you try it out at full speed? Said the man. And then, oh God, oh shit, oh damn, the little old man was reaching toward the control panel and pushing the arrow that made the belt go faster.